So I asked Cody to make an original piece for me, and just kind of see what the process is upon making a brand new trick for people. So, Cody?
Yeah. So this, what we're going to try today, it's an effect that's been around for a while. I've used it in the shows, but we've been talking a lot about the story and how to put a story with an effect. So the method here is something that people used for a long time. My challenge, the way I took the challenge was to try to come up with a new story. So we'll try the effect and the story out, and then we can talk about kind of the development of that at the end.
Okay.
So this card right here, you can think of that as a person in their life. They would have a goal at the end of the day, and we don't need to know what that card is right now. Okay. But we're just going to leave this big card laying here on the table, okay? Okay? And as we go through this, I just want you to keep in mind, I'm going to ask you to make some choices, and I want you to keep in mind the ultimate goal. You could think of it as happiness or success or whatever, and that's what this card will represent. So what I'm going to do, I've got a packet of cards here, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Those are cards, yes.
Yep, and I'm going to hand those to you, okay? All of this is going to take place in your hands. So take that packet of cards, and I'm going to ask you to divide those cards into two piles and just hold one pile in each hand, about half or so. Okay. See, that's about half?
Yep.
Okay, we've got a hamper down here. Okay. On the count of three, I'm going to snap my fingers. When I snap my fingers, you're going to make a decision. It's going to be right or left. Whichever one you decide, you're going to throw half of those cards in whichever hand into the hamper, and we're going to get rid of them. Okay? So ready? Yep. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Now you could have thrown those away, right? I didn't make you throw the ones in this hand away, right?
Not that I know.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Just go ahead and divide out again about half of those cards. Okay. And again, I'm going to count to 3. You're going to make a choice. Okay? Whichever hand. Throw half the cards away. Fair enough? Fair. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Now, you could have gone with that hand. Yeah. You might have thought I'm trying to pull some kind of quick thing. I'll take those. So we're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. Okay. I want you to point at the back of any one of those cards. This one here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's the card?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold out your hand for me just like that. And I'm going to hand you that card. And just hold on to it. Don't look at it yet. Okay? Now, I told you this is the card that represents the overall goal in a person's life. These decisions that you made along the way, you got rid of half the cards, those can represent major choices that we would make in life, right? It could be whether or not to go to college or go to trade school, or what career you want to have. The second choice you made could represent, you know, should I get married to this person, or should I take this job? Should I move across the country? Big choices, right? Obviously, there's a cost to any choice. The choice you made was to get rid of half of those cards. The cost of that was those are no longer a viable option, right? Similar, you have an option from 6 cards here. You could have chosen 1, 2, 3, 4, any of those cards. Yeah. Those cards are good cards, but you didn't choose those. Because I told you to keep in mind the overall goal, right? Yeah. I think it's important for people to realize when they have these decisions, and these can represent smaller decisions, you know. Should I stick to my diet today and eat healthier, or should I go ahead and eat the fast food? You know, a smaller decision that's going to make an effect on your life. Good choices, but maybe not the best choice. So I think the thing to take away from this whole idea and this whole story is that by getting rid of those cards, you're left, you know, the choices you make result in the life you live right now. And I think if people would understand and realize that if they look at every decision that they make, and they would look at it from a perspective of maybe saying no to those good choices in order to say yes to those best choices, more often than not, they'll turn out to be the person that they were always supposed to be. Take a look. So that's my new take and my new story for a presentation.
Wonderful. So walk me through what, and obviously one of the struggles of trying to do a type of story like this, especially going behind the curtain, is that I don't want to reveal too much of the trade secrets and this and that. So what can you tell me here, and what was the process?
My main goal is to take that me versus you mentality away from it. This is not me doing a trick trying to fool you. This is us working together. The magic's happening in your hands. And at the end of the day, my goal is not to have you leave this time together thinking, how did you do that trick? My goal is to leave you thinking about the decisions that you face every day in your life and carrying that theme, not, oh, that guy did a really good card trick.
Yeah.
If at the end of the day, when you leave here, the only thing going on in your head is how did he do the trick, I feel like I failed at my job. I mean, there are things that can go wrong in this, right? If you throw away the wrong half of the cards or you don't pick the right card at the end, obviously none of it works. There's only one card here, there's only one card here.
Yeah.
They're in your hands, you know. So how do you develop a story that gets people less concerned about the cards that are in their hand and more concerned about where it's going and what's the next step?
Yeah.
And so if you look at this whole presentation, I'm not making a huge deal of, you know, which half do you want to do? Mm-hmm. It's, you have a choice, and the cost of that choice is that you lose half of the options, an opportunity cost type of thing. So that's essentially when you ask me, hey, come up with something new, I'm thinking, well, how do I get a person engaged into the effect where it's not just concerned about the trick and the outcome of the trick,
Yeah.
but the whole premise and the thought behind it.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do have to ask you, how did you do that?